What's going on, Big Stepper? So you ready to start wholesaling real estate? You heard about people earning money from home flipping paper and you ready to get to stepping. Well, you come to the right place. And the good news is there's really only 6 ways to start wholesaling real estate. And we're going over all 6 ways in this video today. Within the first 5 minutes of this video, you're going to be able to decide which way is right for you. And also, if you're serious about wholesaling real estate, you're going to be able to start wholesaling right after you watch this video. You're going to be able to begin your real estate wholesaling journey right after, literally. Now, after the first 5 minutes, we're going to take a deep dive into each way that I give you. But ultimately, let's jump right into the first 5 minutes and right into each way to wholesale real estate because I don't want to waste none of your time. All right. Here we go, man. When it comes to wholesaling real estate, there's ultimately 6 ways to get started. You see the first one on screen. It's called being the middleman, get what you can. All right. The second one, you have being a sales agent. Then you have partnership. Then you have sole owner. Then you have sole owner acquisitions focus. And then you have acquisitions or dispositions manager base plus 3 to 8% or full commission, 10, 11, 12% plus incentive. Now, what does that mean at the end? I know I just threw it in there. What you want to see is that I tell you how much you get paid under each structure, under each route, under each way that you choose to begin wholesaling real estate. I'll tell you how much you can expect to be paid from the total net proceeds. Okay. Now, first off, this, in my opinion, depending on how serious you are about wholesaling real estate, the best way to get started, in my opinion, is this way. If you're serious about wholesaling real estate, the best way to get started is being a sales agent for a company. Let me tell you briefly why. Briefly, as you see, you're an independent contractor. Now, what you need, you like keep in mind throughout each one of these levels, be able to like think about where you're at in your current life. That's how you decide which one is best for you, because there's a few different ones. All right. Now, in this route, you need to make sure you got some money saved. Like you need to have like 2 or 3 months saved up, or ultimately need to have 2 or 3 months saved up. Okay. In order to do this route, because you want to be with the company and you want to be able to give your full. And the thing is, they're going to give their full to you because they're going to be there teaching you. So this is somebody who's brand new. They need somebody to hold their hand, micromanage, look right over them and be like, yo, what are you doing? Guess what? You're going to get everything you're looking for right here in this structure. Okay. Now you can expect to get 15 to 65% of your proceeds, depending on, what company you join and also what their sales structure is. Okay. Now, next, I'd say if you need money like today, maybe you're somebody who's never worked a sales job. This is somebody who ideally has sales experience, ideally, because you understand what it means to get paid on commission. Now, right here, you've never worked a sales job. So when it comes, this is like if you're serious about getting started, all right? If you're serious about getting started and you've never worked a sales job, I'd recommend you getting started right here. Maybe you have some kind of experience when it comes to phone sales or just like customer service. Then what you'll be is either the acquisitions manager or the dispositions manager in an actual wholesale company structure. This is the basis of a multi-million-dollar wholesaling real estate company, right? You don't need to have a lot of people under you to have a multi-million-dollar wholesale real estate operation. You just need to have people in the right places. Okay. Now, when it comes to that, you'll be one of the people either right here or right here in this entire structure. Now, what do you do as acquisition manager? You get deals under contract. Simply, you control this right here, and you'll learn more about this if you guys stick around in the video. But you get deals under contract right here. As a disposition manager, you get the deal sold. What's the perks of this one? Briefly, you don't have to worry about being up here as a CEO. You don't have to worry about this whole entire thing. And you still get, if you're used to W-2 income, you're still going to be getting paid maybe $24,000 to $36,000 a year, which is about $2,000 to $3,500 or $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Excuse me. So you still got money coming in on base salary, and you get commission, and you don't have to worry about lead flow. You don't have to worry about deal flow, meaning that you got the leads coming to you. You got everything coming to you, so you good. That's a major difference than being up here. Up here, you're an independent contractor. And also, I want you guys to take a look throughout each one of these. I'll tell you which one when you can actually level up to be a full owner, or which one that you're just going to be an employee. Now, the quick basis to learn in wholesaling real estate or in real estate in general, if you own the process or if you own the deal, or if you're working for someone else, a quick way to distinguish that is if you get paid from the actual title company. If you get paid from the title company when wholesaling real estate, then you're the owner. You're the person who, like, there's nobody else above you. You're the person who controls the show. You're the person who does the process. That's who you are. If somebody else cuts your check, be it a brokerage, be it a company, be it another person, if somebody else cuts your check, then you no longer own that transaction. You're officially working for someone else, even if you're on commission. So you got to decide, what's your values? What's your values? What do you envision yourself long term when it comes to real estate? This will help you decide where you want to start, because ultimately where you start will determine where you end up. And you'll learn, like I said, as you stick around. I'm here for about an hour today, so stick around. All right. So again, here as a sales agent, you're getting 15 to 65%, but ultimately you're really acting as a CEO because there's nobody giving you lead flow. There's nobody giving you deals. Whereas here, someone is at least giving you deals right here, right? So it's more so justified, in my opinion, to have somebody taking money from you if they're giving you leads. Whereas here, they're giving you knowledge, but they're not giving you they're not giving you leads, they're not giving you deals. So it's like it'll be hard as you continue to grow to justify giving somebody either 35 to possibly 85% of your money if they're not giving you the deed. Like if you have to work for it yourself, right? Unless maybe if they're a lender, I don't know. But look, where do we go next? The middleman. The middleman is get what you can. This is partially a strategy, and this is also partially a where you can start from, right? So check this out. If you work a full-time job, you can do this. But I don't think if you're serious about wholesaling real estate, this isn't a way to get started, in my opinion. Like I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. If you're serious about it, like if you actually want to level up, this isn't a good way to get started because you're building a bad precedent. You're not learning how to cultivate the lead. You're learning how to build relationships with wholesalers, which is valuable, but it's not actually building a business, which is a major difference. So with here, if you guessed it, you're more so an employee, right? So as far as you know, as far as you see, these first 3 ways I'm giving you, they're the best ways to get started because you're almost an employee. But right here, you can do this by working a full-time job, right? Whereas this one, this would be your full-time job. This will be your full-time job. Here, at least you can learn the business and do a little bit without having to fully commit if you're not fully committed. But if you want to be fully committed, you shouldn't start doing this. This is basically you get the property under contract from another wholesaler and then you find an end buyer. So let me put it into layman terms, right? Like this will be the way you understand it. Say you got somebody in your family who looking to buy real estate. They don't know where to buy it from. They're just looking to buy real estate. You've been tapped into the real estate game in your local market by being in, local real estate investment groups, going to meetups, all this kind of little stuff, right? You doing all those things. Now you understand that there's wholesalers out there that don't have end buyers, but at the same time, you got a connection with somebody who is an end buyer. They told you, I got $20,000. I'm looking to buy an investment property with this $20,000. You come across a wholesale deal in a Facebook group, somebody's asking $15,000. Then you may go to this wholesaler and say, bro, I got a buyer for you. And hopefully you keep it a buck with them. Always keep it a buck. Some people like to be fake buyers. I don't never mess with that. Keep it a buck with them. Let them know you got an end buyer. You tell them, yo, I got an end buyer. Let me, get us to my end buyer. They say, all right, bet, make what you make. I just need my 15,000. Then what you do is turn around and get the property, an assignment contract with this actual end buyer. Get the assignment contract signed with the end buyer. Now, there's a few different ways you can go about that. I don't want to get into the nitty of it because I'm trying to stick to my promise. I said 5 minutes. All right. So my point is, I'll go into it deeper if you stick around. But look, that's basically what you do. And you're at that point, you're the middleman. So your pay is you get what you can. Either you can go 50%. So you'll go 50-50 with this other wholesaler. Say he got it at 10,000. He was trying to sell it at 5,000. At 15,000. Then you ended up found somebody else for 20,000. So you guys can split that 50-50, or he could be like, yo, no, you getting this at 15,000. You make whatever you make after that, but now I need my 15. I need whatever I can make at 15. You take whatever after. So depending on how you go about it, but even with this scenario, ultimately, you're not the owner because you have to depend on this other wholesaler. So it's not a good way if you're serious about wholesaling real estate to begin your wholesale real estate career, in my opinion. All right, so now let's go to these. Partnership, guys, self-explanatory. You're 50-50. Now, these 3 are going to be if you're somebody who you just want to get started wholesaling real estate. You be honest with yourself. If you've been learning about wholesaling real estate for more than a year, if you've been learning about wholesaling real estate for more than a month and you haven't tried it, you need to go and do this. You need to go be a sales agent. Go be the middleman. Go do acquisition. If you are learning about wholesale real estate for more than a month and you have not tried to pick up the phone, you have not tried anything yourself, you need somebody else in your corner to make you accountable. That's what that shows. So that's the biggest tell. If you only you can be honest with yourself. So that being said, those are three. Now, when it comes to this partnership, it's 50-50. This is the structure of a wholesale real estate organization. You and your partner will be at the top having 50-50 deals. Next, you have sole owner. As a sole owner, this is your organization. But now, as a sole owner, you don't start there. You start here. Sole owner, founder. Ultimately, as a sole owner, you start here just by yourself, and then your first two people you hire are going to be right up in here, right? Maybe you hire one VA, a cold caller, and then you hire a boots on the ground if you're in a virtual market because you don't want to be the one, you can't be the one that's out there physically taking pictures and stuff like that, right? So the purpose of me showing you guys this smaller version is because as a sole owner of a wholesale real estate organization, you do all of this. Like you do all this as a sole owner of a real estate wholesale business. You're doing all of this, but you expand. So that means you expand from here down. That means you know all of this first. Last but not least, you're still a sole owner, but you're just acquisitions focused. And it's 50 to 60% as far as your split, how much you take home. That means that you tell the person who's selling your deals, they either get 50% or they get 40%. Or you can tell them, like I said earlier, you get your number and they get whatever they get afterwards. But I don't recommend that. And we'll talk about it more in a second. So anyway, this is it. So you're a sole owner, acquisitions focus. All right. All right. So now you guys, you got a gauge on faithfully which one is best for you. Like I said, if you're new, you need to start up somewhere, one of these three. Only you know which one is best. Now, what I'm about to do is take you guys back and go to a deep dive on each last one of these. All right. We're going to start right here where we started at. Sales agent. I'm giving you the quick pros and cons. I'm not keeping you for this will be under an hour. All right. So look, pros and cons, sales and agents. You're a sales agent. The biggest pro about this is that you work with the company and you have somebody there. You have somebody there, guys. Wholesale real estate it's a lonely road if you don't have anyone there. If you're not intrinsically motivated, if you're not somebody who can be self-accountable, if you're not somebody who has self-discipline, if you're not self-motivated, if you don't have all of those things, join a company, join an organization, because the company, either that's a CEO, so maybe this is somebody who's wholesale real estate before, or maybe this is somebody who's owns a brokerage. Likely it's an individual rather than a group of people. But either way, this person has been successful at what you're trying to do. So they'll be able to hold your hand throughout the process and they'll be able to keep you accountable. So therefore, those are your pros with this, right? Your cons with this is going to be the same thing, somewhat. Your cons with this is that there is going to be someone there that's micromanaging in a way, because they're going to be like, yo, what did you do? What did you do? Da, 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 da. Now, this is, as you say, like, reason I'm saying this is because the same reason why you start this organization will be the same reason why you leave it, in my opinion. Guys, it's going to be hard when it comes to wholesaling real estate to justify giving somebody a portion of your income. It's like, let me just draw a big difference. All right. When it comes to being a realtor, when you're a realtor, there's no, what do they call that? No fee brokerages. They're popping up everywhere, right? No fee brokerages, because they understand that the realtor is the one who's doing all the work. The brokerage, they're there to provide sometimes tools for you to use, right? So maybe that's a CRM, maybe that's marketing material, things like that for you to use. But they're not the ones that's calling these clients and going to those properties and booking the open houses and sitting at open houses for hours. They're not the ones doing it. They're not doing any of that, actually. You're the one doing all of that, but you still go and give them, 35% if you're at a no brokerage brokerage, right? And 35% is generous, guys. Like I said, there's 15% for a reason. My experience with sales agents when it comes to wholesaling real estate just happened when I moved here to Florida. I'd never seen the model. There's literal brokerages, but they're sales agents. On the bottom end of it, guys, they're only getting 15%, and they're doing all the work as a single sole owner. At the top end of it, they're getting 65%, which is way better than 15%, right? Now, I'm going to give you another pro. Another pro about this is that you have other people that you're working with. Let me explain. So you know how I said In this right here, in this model, this wholesaler, if he can't find somebody to actually sell that deal, he's going to go to a wholesaler, right? Now, in this model, you don't need to go to a wholesaler if you can't sell a deal, or if you can't sell the deal by yourself. You can reach out to somebody in your office at your company, and they can get the deal sold for you. Now, the pro there is that there'll be more trust, ideally, right? Ideally, there's more trust there because y'all under the same umbrella. So they win. I mean, you don't really win if they win type stuff, but the fact is, like, there's trust built there, right? So they want to work for you because it's like, yo, this is my guy. I come to work with him, so I'm not about to run around his back and try to knock the property. So there's a sense of camaraderie when you're working as a sales agent within the company. Now, like I said, the cons of this, guys, ultimately it boils down to splits. It boils down to splits. This is why I said it, where you start at, it depends on where you end at. Because if you start getting 100%, it's going to be very hard to come over here and now get, possibly 40% of your income. Unless when you were at 100%, you didn't get anything, right? If you were 100% of nothing, then it'll be easy to come over here. But if you've already done, a great by yourself, it's going to be hard to justify that. And then also as you continue to grow, so the same person that maybe helped you, maybe taught you the game, maybe taught you how to become a successful wholesaler, it's very easy for you to maybe feel like, yo, I appreciate you teaching me, but ultimately I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you to keep giving you my money. Like, I don't owe you that. So I'm going to go branch off by myself. You start feeling like you can do it by yourself. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest con with this structure right here. I was in this structure briefly. I didn't get a deal closed when I was in that structure. I left it because I didn't get a deal closed. As far as me coming down here to Florida, I never started in this structure. I didn't even know it was possible. Like I said, I just learned about it in Florida. I didn't get a deal closed here in Florida with this structure. And looking back on it, guys, everything happens for a reason, because as I got more into it, I just started thinking like, yo, it kind of doesn't make sense. Like, just in my humble opinion, it doesn't make sense. So I just think that as a person, you have to decide what makes sense for you. So in review, biggest pro is camaraderie. Biggest pro, somebody's there to hold your hand, teach you. Biggest con, you're going to have to justify as you continue to grow. The justification of the beginning learning stage will not equate to you keep getting money taken out of your check. It just mentally, guys, I don't care who you are, it won't equate. And if you feel like you have the confidence to do it yourself, if you feel like you gaining confidence, you killing it at this organization, you killing it, you're going to want to do it yourself, because you're like, yo, if I did it myself, I can invest more money into my marketing. I can invest more money into my actual process. Because ultimately, guys, when you're here, you still got to build a process. The company's not giving you anything, but they're taking everything. It won't make sense as you continue to grow. All right, the middleman, get what you can. The crazy part about this, guys, you as a middleman right here, this can be your structure. This can be your same structure. The companies that I recognize when it comes to sales agent, like this type of structure, they often do this kind of structure. Like, they're this structure, right? You're a company, but they encourage their sales agents to do this, because the idea is that the seller is no longer the commodity. The wholesaler is the commodity, meaning that the relationship is the commodity. So this kind of company, they really want their sales agents to do this, but that's only because, again, you're not owner. They're the owner in this. So you're going to have to continuously be in a rat race chasing other wholesalers while they continuously get paid off of your rat racing. So that's the biggest issue there. Like I said, in my opinion, that's the biggest issue there. So it's the biggest issue the same when it comes to this, guys. You are going to be like, you will never be able to scale. You're going to get paid off this person rat racing, wholesaler, right? So ideally, you're going to be getting paid off their rat racing. But the thing is, you won't get paid if they stop. So you got to rat race and find more of them. You got to find more. And why do I say the term rat race? Because people hear entrepreneurship, or people hear wholesaling real estate, and you just automatically think you're an entrepreneur. Like, no, bro, you're not an entrepreneur when you're wholesaling real estate. You're a self-employed individual. And especially if you're in these two, you're barely self-employed. Like, you're self-employed. I'm not going to like say that. You're self-employed, but you're not getting your check directly from the title company. So therefore, you're going to lean heavily on who's ever providing that check. So this wholesaler is going to be the one providing that check. So you're going to be leaning heavily, almost being of service to this wholesaler. Now, granted, it can become that this wholesaler becomes of service to you, right? That's the idea behind this. Because now this wholesaler, like, yo, you just sold this for me. I don't know how you sold that, bro. I could have never sold it. Da da da. But the fact remains, just like in this model, this wholesaler will start feeling like, wait, why am I giving you my money when I can find it myself? The same way in this model. Why am I giving this company my money if I can build the funnel and build everything myself? It's the same thing. It's almost parasitic when it comes to these two models because nobody's providing anything, right? There's only really take, take, take. Now, in this one, granted, this wholesaler, he's going to be fed. He's going to be like, yo, I'm happy, I'm happy. But as he grows, or as she grow, whoever that wholesaler is, they'll come to you, but only as a last resort. They're not going to come to you as first resort. Because if they come to you as first resort, then you might as well be a partnership. But they recognize that they're the ones who building a relationship with the seller. They're doing all of this. So why not just X you out the way and go right to the end buyer? The biggest thing in business, you have to make yourself invaluable. You have to make yourself indispensable. In this model, you are not indispensable, guys. You can be easily X'd out, right? In this model, you're not indispensable, guys. You can be easily replaced with another person who's looking to learn and do 15 and get 40% of their commission. You're not indispensable. So that being said, as the company right here, I think that the company, the only, like, they're not indispensable either, right? The only way that the company can make themselves indispensable is by making sure that they build a relationship with you and also creating a need, right? Like they have to create a psychological need, meaning that psychologically they have to make you feel like you need them. But in reality, you don't. It's the same way here, guys. Psychologically, you have to make this wholesaler feel like they need you, but in reality, they don't. So once this psychological need is lifted from this wholesaler and lifted from the sales agent, you're left with nothing. But the great thing is the company, they can always replace you. Right here, you never want to be in this position because now you have to work your tail off to find another wholesaler, which can be great because there's new people looking to wholesale every day. But the fact remains, you'd rather be right here with the seller so you can get the most amount of money. These wholesale deals, you want to make the biggest profit possible, guys. All right. So that's the pros and cons. Like this one, guys, in review, the pro is going to be simply, it's ideally quicker. There's less barrier to entry. You're bottom feeding. You're able to simply message 1,000 people a day, and maybe you come across somebody where they're willing to hop on the phone with you and they have a wholesale lead. They have a good deal, and you can come in and use your expertise to close it. Good thing is with this one too is that you can work your full-time job. So you can be learning about wholesale real estate, building up your references, building up your sources, building up your resources, and also, excuse me, getting that experience when it comes to wholesaling and also keeping your full-time income. Okay. So those are your pros. Your biggest con is that you're not indispensable. You can and will be replaced at the soonest sight possible. This wholesaler will replace you as soon as they can. Like you're only working with this wholesaler is only working with you out of need. It's not because they like they like you, which is why they probably go for you, but they only like that you get the deal done. Now, that being said, genuine relationships can come from this. Like it can sprout as far as a friendship or something like that. But when it comes to business wise, no, like this wholesaler always wants to get this is what we do. We're sales, guys. They don't want to pay you. Just know that they don't want to pay you. So quickly as possible, you better start hustling to get another wholesaler, or quickly as possible, you better just transition and actually build a business, a real business. Okay. So that being said, let's go here. This is where we're at now. Acquisitions or dispositions, guys, pros and cons of each. Now, I want to take a quick break because I feel like you guys need to fully understand in order for me to go to this one, you have to fully understand what the everything means in this structure. Okay. So I'm going to take a quick break and we'll go back to that one. So now let's go to sole owner. Sole owner, you get 100%, right? You're an owner. Your check owner means that your check comes directly from the title company. Your check doesn't come from a company. Your check doesn't come from another wholesaler. Your check is not split to a 50-50 with another wholesaler. Your check is directly, you're the only other wholesaler on the HUD statement, okay? This is what this means. Now, remember, I told you, 100% of nothing is nothing. But if you start off and you're getting 100%, you're not going to want to go back to any other model unless it fully makes sense. And it's only one model that makes sense. And I'll show you what that is, in my opinion. So, CEO, you start off here as a founder. Now, remember, As a founder, you start off at this just as a founder. You eventually, as a founder, you do all of this and you work your way out of your position, which means that you fire yourself as a founder. First thing you want to fire, let's go down. Let's see how we're gonna do this actually. I want to take y'all from bottom to top. Let's go bottom to top. All right, so bottom to top. Actually, no, I'm taking off top to bottom. So CEO founder, your second in command is going to be your COO. And this is like I said, this is $1 million wholesale operation. Look at it like that. As far as what you're building, you don't start here. This is what I mean. You don't start here. This is what you build out to. This is what you work up to. Your COO is your chief operating officer. This is going to be your person that handles the day-to-day operations of the wholesale company once you've worked your way out of the business. That being said, they'll just report to you the KPIs. They'll report to you how many deals were closed. They'll report to you the key performance indicators of basically how the business is going. They'll report to you the business health. They'll report to you things like that, right? On a weekly, daily, or however basis you work out with your COO. Now, you could have a vice president under your COO, which is more focused on the operation. The COO is more focused on the overall data to be able to present to you, but I didn't want to go that deep, all right? So from here, your COO, he splits into two. Your COO primarily splits into having a disposition side and an acquisition side, right? So now what does that mean? Your acquisitions, like we said, they get deals under contract. Your dispositions, they get deals sold. But it's not that simple. It looks like that simple, but it's not. Your acquisition manager is in charge of all of this, okay? So your acquisition manager, remember, these two are the only two that reports to the COO. These two are the only two that reports to the COO. Your transaction coordinator sometimes can. And let's just, for the sake of this, let's say your transaction coordinator is, because your transaction coordinator is going to be the one, just, hey, the deal went through, all this kind of stuff, right? So maybe your COO reports there. Just for the sake of this, let's say they do. Okay, so acquisition manager. Under that, you have your lead manager. Your lead manager checks the quality of your inbound and outbound leads, which means that all of your marketing channels, right? So that's part of being up here as a CEO. CEO doesn't mean that you fully step away from the business, right? It means you oversee the whole business. And a lot of what you'll be overseeing as a CEO of a real estate wholesaling operation or a real estate wholesaling business is your marketing tactics, because you have to keep and make sure that the engine keeps turning. You have to make sure that deals keep flowing, things keep coming in. So you have to make sure that the marketing tactics are on point, okay? So the marketing tactics, the marketing funnel, if you will, that'll be what you're mainly focused on. But this lead manager is checking the quality of these inbound and outbound leads, okay? They're checking the quality, and it's coming from all of these sources. It's coming from the VA of the inbound leads, right? So your inbound leads are people that are calling in. Where do they come from? They come from SEO, right? So maybe you got a website and somebody just submitted on your website that they have a property that they're looking to sell. On that note, then that lead comes to your lead manager. And now your lead manager, they call that lead and they say, hey, just checking basically making sure that they're looking to sell and get a reasonable amount of money for their property. They're not looking to get $5 million for a $100,000 property, right? So then once your lead manager checks and makes sure that the person is sane, they ain't tripping, they're not crazy, they give it to your acquisitions manager. Then your acquisition manager calls and actually get to the nitty gritty, besides getting the right price, why you're interested in selling. What's the age of the roof, furnace, hot water? Is the property rented or is it vacant? If it's vacant, how long has it been vacant? If it's rented, how long has it been rented? Are the tenants, are they month to month or a year lease? All those kind of things. That's what your acquisition manager is asking. You know what I'm saying? That's what they actually get into, the nitty gritty of it. Your lead manager, they just making sure that there's a real lead. All right. So now your VA for your outbound leads. Your outbound leads is going to be from your cold calling, mostly your cold calling, right? So cold calling, and that's another person, right? Your cold call is going to come to the lead manager, but it's right here, ultimately here. Okay. So let me relax. Yo. All right. So the biggest thing is that your cold caller ultimately do, the outbound leads, because there's leads that are calling back, right? So your cold caller, they're going to qualify the leads. So there's somebody who's looking to sell. The lead will say, yes, I do want to sell my property. Then they give it to the lead manager to make sure, again, it's a reasonable amount of money. So that way this acquisition manager gets on the phone and just closes the deal. Okay. Now, the outbound lead person, they're again answering phone calls. They're answering phone calls. These two people are in charge. They'll have certain specific lead channels that they're in charge of. Okay. So this person maybe is in charge of cold calling, because cold calling is going to be quicker. It's going to be way quicker, right? If we call somebody, they're calling us back, we want to answer right away. We don't want our cold callers to stop calling. They have to keep going and calling on the outbound. We want this outbound person to be answering those calls as they come in. So we're going to have that person, and then this inbound person is going to be going through our websites, making sure that, what's happening there. They're going to be going through a whole bunch of different things like that. Okay. Now your data scrubber, your VA data scrubber, if you guys did not watch the last video, remember, your data scrubber is not necessary. You don't need to have somebody in this position, but maybe you do, right? So when it comes to data scrubbing, I'm talking about up against the do not call registry, okay? But then also your data scrubber will be able to format your leads, being able to put them in the correct format to get them skip trace, things like that, okay? So then that will give them to your cold caller, and that basically is how that works, okay? So lead manager, say 2x, because you may, as you grow, need two of them. And the same with your cold caller, you get two of them, as you continue to grow. So this is what the acquisition side of your company entails. Once you get that lead and this acquisition manager qualifies to get all the information, now they make the offer. Once they make that offer, they get the deal under contract. After getting the deal under contract, we now have to see the property. We now have to get pictures and videos of the property. After we get pictures and videos of the property, that's our project manager, okay? Our project manager / boots on the ground, they go and take pictures and videos of that property. Once we get pictures and videos of the property back, your boots on the ground is going to give it to your acquisition manager, just to make sure, they check in and making sure that the property is a good lead, right? So once they check and make sure it is a good lead, then your acquisition manager turns around and gives it to your disposition manager, right? So this is why these also connect. Your disposition manager gets the actual file and all that from your acquisition manager. Excuse me. So let's back up just a little bit. Excuse me. So your acquisition manager is going to send this to your transaction coordinator once you have the file in place. Your seller's already under contract. You send that to your transaction coordinator just so they can have everything in place and their communication now with that seller. Now your transaction coordinator is going to be the one in charge if the seller has a small question about anything about our process. Now your acquisition manager, they can stay focused on closing deals that are properly qualified by the lead manager. They focus strictly on that. They no longer have to call the seller just to make sure that they're, okay this week or whatever. You know how it goes. If you're the single owner, you're doing everything, right? So now you got that taken care of. Your disposition manager now has the pictures of the property. Once your disposition manager has the pictures of the property, he does just that. He gets the deal sold. He disposes your deal, okay? After he gets your deal sold, he now gives the assignment contract to the transaction coordinator. The transaction coordinator gives all this information, the assignment contract and the purchase agreement, to the title company. Once the title company has that, what happens is they, do everything they need to do, get the title search done, and then you guys close on the deal. Your transaction coordinator lets your COO, lets them know that the deal has been officially closed, okay? And, funds are dispersed from your transaction coordinator as well, depending on, because you got to disperse them within your company, right? It all goes to one company. You're the CEO. It all goes to one company. Now, you can be the person in charge of dispersing the funds, but likely you want to have your transaction coordinator in charge of dispersing all funds, okay? So your disposition manager as well, he'll have access to your project manager and your boots on the ground, because your boots on the ground is your project manager, meaning that they have to go and play interference when it comes to doing the walkthroughs with the buyers. You want to make sure there's somebody there to represent you and your interests. Make sure that your buyer is not going to circumvent you, go behind your back directly to the seller on the deal. So this is why your disposition manager and your acquisition manager both have access to your project manager / boots on the ground. All right, so I just explained all that to you except for this one small thing, but this small thing is actually a big thing, and I learned about this small thing from here in Florida, from being here in Florida, guys. Now, let me take you back. That's why I do that. Relationship manager, what do? They get deals from other wholesalers. They, wait for it, they're the middleman, get what you can, guys. This is why it's so important. If you're here or starting here, I feel like you stifle your career growth if you stay in this position, because you will never have the full complexity of what it means to actually own the whole transaction. And right here, though, Because don't get it twisted. Like I said, this person right here, they can be a once successful wholesaler, but they understand the meaning of ownership. They're tired of the rat race, guys. There's a reason why they're not wholesaling anymore. Instead of building the actual wholesaling company, they decided to make their product. Their product is people, right? So right here, as an owner, your product is more sales agents you get, the more money you come in, the more people. Right here, as an owner, your product is the more quality leads you get, the more deals you get closed, and the more you feed your team and feed your people. Right here, you're not necessarily feeding anybody. You're taking everything home, but you got to make sure that your main job is going to be making sure that you keep on having the recruitment process coming in, right? Now, granted, right here as a middleman, and here you can be still a middleman, right? But as the service that you can provide to all of your people is to make sure that they have certain kind of CRM, certain kind of tools in place, right? That's the ultimate biggest service that you can provide, because these people, they can be the middleman. Your sales agents, they can also try this strategy, but your sales agent can also become this strategy, right? They can also do all this, and you'll always get a piece of the pie. So, I mean, to be real with you, bro, as an owner, I think it's smarter to go this route because there's less overhead. You're going to have so much less overhead. You want in this route, you're the 100% owner of whatever your organization is, right? But you don't have the overhead worrying about feeding all these people. You don't have to worry about their deal flow, worry about their deals coming in. They got to make their deals how they make it, but you still take a piece of their money. So your main marketing channel is going to be to get more people coming in. That's your main marketing channel. That's your main bread and butter. That's how you grow your company. All right. So right here, again, middleman, get what you can. Right here, they can be the middleman or they can be the CEO, however they want to do it, but they still got to pay this person. Now, what's the significance of the relationship manager? This relationship manager is now this person. Say this person as a sales agent, their number one strategy to get leads is to be in the middleman. This is their number one strategy. That's their bread and butter. That's what they great at, right? Guys, depending on the market that you're in, you can be a six-figure real estate agent, real estate wholesaler, real estate investor by simply being a middleman and getting what you can, depending on the market that you're in. So this person is great at that. This person is really great at this getting wholesalers. What you can do as a CEO of your company is hire this person, guys. You can hire a person, and it doesn't have to be this person, right? But you can hire a person to be in this role. So that means that the sole purpose of this person is being the middleman, going out, hey, our company, we buy this property, we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. And you're going out and telling these wholesalers, if you don't have a deal, if you don't know a buyer for your deal, send it over to us. We'll get it done. And in fact, we actually buy some of our properties because my CEO, he's buying property this year. So you have a lot more leverage and negotiating power being a relationship manager in an actual organization, because maybe you do give this person 35% of your income, but at least this person, ideally, if they're able to close on a property, then that'll be great within itself, right? They're closing on a property. But also, like I said before, your VA that's focused on those outbound, inbound leads, guys, you ultimately, you would like to have this person here. You would like to have this person right there as well. Because the inbound leads, wholesalers submit properties, guys. Wholesalers submit deals to other wholesaling sites. That's how I found one of my closest connections in wholesaling. I submitted a property on his site. I thought he was a buyer. He wasn't a buyer. He was a wholesaler. But he ended up right here. He ended up getting the deals closed for me, right? So like me, I kept going back. But like I told you guys before, the moment I was able to get the deal sold myself, then I'm like, yo, you're still my guy, but you my last resort now. I'm about to get the deal sold myself. That's just like the number. As soon as I was able to do that, I did it. Like, no, not even hesitating. So right here, as a person, you may even still have these people bringing you leads, right? Because that's your bread and butter. Your bread and butter right here is being able to be a relationship builder. You're not great at cultivating the lead. You may be not the greatest at being on the phone with the seller, building a rapport with the seller, understanding the rapport, understanding what the seller is thinking, understanding tone trajectory of the seller, right? You're not great with being able to get it from the actual seller, but you are great at providing that service for the actual wholesaler who has it under contract with the seller. So if you're part of a real estate company, they may get a ton of leads that are inbound from other wholesalers. And guess what? Boom, send them over to you, send them over to you. And guess what? You might be able to work something out different with this person because you're acting as like a whole different wing of a wing of the dispositions, right? You're on a disposition side, but you're not in the dispositions department. You're not up here. This disposition person cannot tell you what to do. If anything, you say, "Hey, bro, we got another one." You hand it to the dispositions person, okay? So handing it to the dispositions person, that means that again, in this role, you can be paid more than everybody else in this role because you're so great at reaching outside of the organization, right? You're able to reach outside of the organization and get leads from other wholesalers. You're out here reaching out other wholesalers. That's all this means, guys. Other wholesalers are bringing you leads. Other wholesalers are bringing you deals. If you're able to do that, guys, then you're putting yourself other wholesalers. Yeah. So that's it, guys. If you do that, I mean, simply enough, like I said, now you're actually bringing something into the organization, right? Whereas right here, everybody else is getting fed by the CEO because the CEO has to make sure that the marketing dollars keep going. CEO got to make sure the train keep going. But right here, you're able to reach out through your connections and bring other deals into this organization. It's the same as this, but it's a lot different because you have somebody feeding back into you. Whereas this one, it's not symbiotic. It's not a symbiotic relationship. It's more of a pest. I forgot the name of it, but it's a one-way street with this one. It's not both ways. Okay. And the same way with this one. So right here, now that this is understood, we're going to move right over here to the sole owner acquisitions focus. Mainly because, guys, you understand what a partnership is. I'm not going to go too deep into it. We just explained it. The biggest caveat with partnership is that you need to be so connected at the top. You got to be so connected at the top, guys, because if not, you're going to put so much pressure at the bottom. If you're not connected at the top, you put too much pressure at the bottom. In this model, I would definitely recommend you having a vice president because your COO needs to be really training and really preparing themselves to present to both of you guys because it's not one person that has to understand it. Both of you guys have to understand it. So if you had a vice president, that's great. One thing I want you to keep in mind is that this stuff look great, right? All this shit look great. But the fact remains that the more heads, the more this 100% goes down, right? So this 100% in this model can easily turn into 50%. This 100% in this model can easily turn into 40%. This 100% in this model can easily be 70%. It all depends on how big you want to scale this because remember, you start here. You start here. In this model right here, you probably taking home 80%. You got cold callers, you got boots on the ground. You taking home 80 to 90% of the payday, depending on how much the cold callers cost per lead, type of stuff like that, right? You taking home 80 to 90%. The more you start adding on, like I said, it's not uncommon to be 40, 50, but you can also be up to 70% depending on your pay structure because all of these people don't have to be paid guaranteed salary. All these people can also have commission structures as well, right? The main thing that they want from you is consistent deal flow. So that means all the pressure is on you at the top, but it's not on you on the day-to-day basis. You share the pressure, you share the overhead, you share all the costs right here, which is better, in my opinion, because you're able to share the overhead. But also keep in mind, instead of you that 70% now is looking like 35%, right? That 40% now is looking like 20%. So watch how big you scale because you'll go a lot less, right? And everything is the same. You still have a relationship manager, but the biggest thing, you might want to have a vice president. But remember, watch how big you scale. If you don't have a vice president, you guys need to be super connected at the top. All right, now our last one. Sole owner acquisitions focus. This one, guys, it's everything that this is minus the disposition manager. Really just minus the disposition manager, right? Dispo manager. I'm gonna say dispo. Minus the dispositions manager. Now check this out. Your COO, everything stays the same. Acquisition manager, everybody does the same thing. But your relationships manager is almost going to take the place of your dispo manager. Because remember, your relationships manager it's in the dispo department. He's on the dispo wing. He's in that department, but he's not having to sell leads to other wholesalers. But he is able to bring other wholesalers in to the organization, meaning bringing other leads in, right? So it's everything remains the same right here, right? Being able to connect, that right there, and him reaching out to other wholesalers, all of that remains the same. But when it comes to other wholesalers, all right. So when it comes to actually dispoing the lead, you're not doing that. So the only caveat, if you will be that you're earning less, which means that 50-60%, right? But the positive side is you're not spending money on disposition. So you're not paying a disposition manager. This relationship manager does not get paid unless they're bringing wholesale deals in. So they're not getting paid just off anything. Everybody else in your organization does get paid off this model, except the relationship manager, unless they actually bring that lead in. If they bring the lead in, then of course they get paid. So here, owner, you got to keep in mind that 50%, again, you got overhead. That 50% can turn into 30% easy. 50% turn into 25%, easy. 60%. This depends on what you negotiate with other wholesalers. This other wholesaler, depending on how you want to use this relationship manager, they will get paid. I said they wouldn't get paid. Excuse me. They won't get paid if they have nothing to do with it, right? They will get paid if they sell the deal because they're bringing other leads in mainly, but they're getting deals sold to quality wholesalers. Excuse me. I messed up, guys. They're getting deals sold to quality wholesalers. I didn't read the fine print. In this role, you're getting your deal sold to quality wholesalers, guys. As long as they get the deal sold to quality wholesalers in this role right here, then they do get paid because that's how you sell the deal. So they don't have to worry about building up the rapport with buyers, anything like that. Remember, this person is already good at building relationships. They already got relationships with other wholesalers. What we want them to do is reach out to other wholesalers and just sell the deal. We don't worry about bringing any deals in. They don't need to bring any deals in. They only handle the wholesale deals that come to us. The reason why we separate that is because it's going to be a different kind of mindset of an acquisition manager who's talking to an actual seller versus the mindset of a relationship manager who's talking to this. This acquisition manager gives all the information to the relationship manager, and then that relationship manager gets the deal sold to other wholesalers, other quality wholesalers. And remember, the biggest difference is that in this one, the relationship manager is getting deals from other wholesalers, and then they get deals sold to buyers, right? They're getting the deal sold to buyers. I'm about to do all that. All right. So you get 50 to 60% because you can negotiate to this other wholesaler. Like, look, bro, I'm bringing you a deal. All you got to do is get it sold, right? That's 40%. Take 40% because you're not having project manager boots on the ground. Go look at the property. Now, if you're in a virtual market, it may be beneficial to pay them 50% because now they're going out and they're getting pictures of the video, the pictures of the property. They got to play intermediary between the buyers and everything. All right. But if they're not doing all that, then 40% definitely. Okay. Yeah, no, we just did good. That's it, guys. That is it. That's it. Now, lastly, but not least, I want to talk to you about which one is, I want to give you a little bit perspective about where I came from. Where I came from was doing wholesaling first, as far as a sole owner. I was 19 years old, fresh out of college, fresh out of being a college football player. My entrepreneurship characteristics, my qualities of who I am as a person prepared me for entrepreneurship. Okay. So therefore, my mindset was never to sit back and just learn. It was more so to do and learn. I heard about real estate wholesaling on a Breakfast Club interview. The next day I was cold calling for sell by owner leads. Like, yo, you want to sell your property for, it's listed at 100,000. I'll pay you 40,000. I ain't had no care because I knew I was worth more than what my circumstances presented, right, at the time. Therefore, I just got to step in. I didn't care. So this is what I'll say to you. If that sounds like you just go get the step and you don't care. You're the type of person, you hear about something. If you really about it, you're going to do it the next day. You're not going to sit back and learn about it for a year. You're going to do it the next day. If that sounds like you, start here. If that does not sound like you, do not waste anybody's time by trying to be a self-starter under an organization that is not an actual company, meaning by under a person, under, somebody wholesaling real estate. So you're like, yo, let me just, what I'm saying, get on with you. No, don't waste their time because you're not going to keep up with it. You need to have somebody micromanaging you, which means that you need to be here as a sales agent or here as an acquisition manager. If you're able to do those two things successfully, if you're able to successfully do these two things, and then if you're able to keep the same momentum after you get a win, that's the biggest thing about wholesaling real estate that not many people talk about. What it takes to be successful over here is that after you get a $50,000 check, you have to get up and work and have the same effort and momentum to put in. You have to keep yourself as accountable when you did not have that $50,000 check. After that check closes, you have to remain equally as accountable. Over here, you got somebody saying, yo, are you coming in today? So they're keeping you accountable. You need to be honest with yourself. Are you able to keep the same type of enthusiasm after earning 50K in one check when some people don't earn a 50K in a year? And maybe you were in a position where you were just earning 50K in a year, then you just earned 50K in one check. Are you going to be able to keep that same momentum, keep that same enthusiasm, keep that same hunger? Are you going to be hungry? Are you going to be equally as hungry when you didn't have anything versus when you got something and it's more than what you just made in a year in one check? If you're able to do that, then you're built for this. You built to be a partnership. You built to be a sole owner. You built to be acquisition. You built for those. If you're not able to do that, then stay over on this side. Because these sides, you got people holding you accountable. Over here, if you ain't really about wholesaling real estate, but you just want to, test it out, then if you work your full-time job, test it out. Guys, with me, I worked a full-time job and was wholesaling real estate. I did not start wholesaling real estate until I worked my way out and gained enough money. I didn't start doing it full-time until I gained enough money to quit my job. Then I did it full-time. So when I had to switch and come over here, when I have somebody, holding me accountable to the extent of expecting me to having expectations to be kind of in office, to do it kind of their way, to do all that, it didn't sit right with who I am as a person. Therefore, could have been why I did not close my deal, because the feelings just wasn't, it didn't 100% align with who I am, right? Because again, how you start determines how you finish. I started by myself. So how do I go into a situation where I got somebody telling me what to do, telling me this, that, and the third? That don't work for me. I don't need that. That's not who I am. That may be who you are though, right? Now, that being said, on this one, again, it will be very challenging to be able to see $100,000 and stay in this position, because if you get $100,000 over here, you got to pay, that taxes. So let's say 30%, roughly, it could be 23, whatever, depending on, your breaks, whatever. Let's just say 30, for example. 30%, 30K, plus you giving somebody else 35% of your pre-tax income. That means that you're taking home, that's 65K. That means you're taking home 35K. That, when you put it in perspective like that, it'll make you think twice, let alone 15%. 15% just sound crazy, but I realized there were people out there doing that, so I had to put it. There's organizations out here, and there's people working their tail off doing 15% of the entire transaction, even though they put all the work in to cultivate that lead. Insane, if you ask me. Insane. Nothing short of that. But to grow 65%, it'll be hard mentally to challenge that. Like, that's why with me, I couldn't grow in that direction, because it wouldn't have made sense. I would have looked back on it and I would have not felt good about it. Okay. Now, partnership. The only way you do a partnership, guys, is if you trust this person. Before you ever do a partnership with somebody, you need to do about 20 JV deals with them, right? A JV, it means you just testing them out. A partnership means you get married. That means you guys have one LLC. That means you guys have one bank account. That means you have two authorization signatures on that LLC and on that bank account. You need to be able to trust that person ain't about to run off with your money, run off and run up the credit on the business credit. You need to make sure of all these things. Do ample, at least 20 JV deals before you ever do any kind of partnership. For me, it'll be challenging for me. I'm not going to say like, it'll be, the person will have to bring some real quality to the table, because I bring so much to the table myself that I really don't need a partnership. But that person will have to bring something of very tangible quality, which I know what that is, but I'm not going to say what it is, but I know what that is, for me to be able to be a partnership. I don't need to say it, but if I ever saw somebody bring that to the table, then it would make me want to do a partnership. And even before that partnership, we'd have to do several JV deals too. But that's the only way that I would ever do a partnership. Personally, I don't think it makes sense. But if you're somebody that, hey, maybe it's you and your partner, being that you and your girlfriend, you and your boyfriend are getting in this together, and y'all already all in it together, you know what I'm saying? Y'all sleep together, y'all do everything else together, then y'all should do a official partnership. Cause it's like, yo, we're gonna keep it 100. We in this together type stuff, right? Or maybe you and your boy, right? You a guy watching this, you and your homie, y'all found out about wholesaling real estate together. Y'all making an effort together to cultivate these leads and do it up 100% together. Then you go do a partnership. I think it make 1,000% in that trajectory. It's going to be very challenging though. If you start off as a sole owner, you've already made several six figures and you've already had successful years. It'll be very challenging to go over here to a partnership unless that person brings something to the table that you know that you don't have, or that you know that you could use, or that you see how it can actually double your business, even though you're getting 100%. That's the only way it'll ever make sense. Guys, 100% is not for the faint of heart. 100% means that you take 100% of the profits, but also 100% of the headache. That right there is enough to aid you, right? That stuff right there is enough to put real pressure on you. Are you the kind of person that can deal with pressure? Do you crack under pressure? Who are you when it comes down to it? If you ain't that kind of person, if you're not really cut from that cloth, don't do 100%, bro. If you ain't really cut from the cloth of self-accountability, don't do 100%. If you're not really cut from the cloth of being able to be a big stepper from the fact of earning money on commission, don't do it. It takes a huge support system. If you don't have a huge support system, be it in the terms of family, be it in the terms of friends, don't do it. And support system may include financially as well, because you're taking 100% of the risk. Whereas right here, maybe 1 week, like, yo, bro, I got some stuff coming up. You know what I'm saying? We got this deal closing. You take a little bit of my profits from that deal. I need to get some money now. So I got some little stuff I need to take care of. Bro, like, all right, I got you. And your bro go trust you because he know that y'all got money coming in, right? Right here, guys, you ain't got no bro. You ain't got no girl. You don't have a partner to say, hey, I got you. So have a strong support system, be it in terms of family or friends, that believe in you, believe in your work ethic, believe in your vision, and they know that this 100% is going to be worth a hell of a lot one day. Okay. So that's the main reason why I'd recommend. And also, if you as a CEO, if you ain't honest with yourself, bro, if you ain't willing to do all this and more, then don't do it. But now you can see, like, it's going to take all this and more for you to get your first deal. All this and more. Okay. If that sounds like too much for you, start when you got somebody hold your hand. Last but not least, guys, this one, I actually got two more. I'm gonna make it fast. This one right here is perfect if you're entering a new market. If you're entering a new market, it's perfect because what you'll be able to do, excuse me, somebody like myself, I virtual wholesale real estate. I've been virtual wholesaling real estate for the last 6 years, 5 years full time. This means that if I go into a different market, what I'm going to be able to do is cold call the people from where I'm sitting at, right? I'll be able to pay my cold callers, have them run through the list. They cold calling people from where they're sitting at. But we need boots on the ground. We need somebody who know the area, who know the market, who know the investors. So what I'll do is reach out to a local investor, a local wholesaler who has reputable, they got good rep under them, right? I'll reach out to them. I say, bro, look, let's go 50-50. I'm going to go 50-50 with them. I'm not going to go and say there's a flat fee. The reason I go 50-50 is because now they're financially motivated, which means that if I win, they win. If I lose, they lose. Now we in this officially together. Even though right here, I'll still do this before I do a partnership because we don't share the same LLC. This is called a JV, right? So go 50-50 with this person because now they're fully vested in you too. They fully vested in your success, okay? Anything less than 50-50 with this person, they won't be fully vested, especially if they haven't done any deals, and especially if they're the ones who have to go out to the property. If you already got the pictures of the property, you already got walkthrough, if you got all of that, then they might go for 40% because they're like, I don't need to do nothing but send it to my guy, and it's an easy thing, then do that, all right? Last but not least, guys, acquisitions or dispositions, man. The biggest thing with this one, bro, you do this solely and only you do this one if you are comfortable with being an employee, because you're an employee to the 10th degree, more so than right here and more so than right here. You gotta be there. You better make sure you at them 8 a.m. meetings. You better make sure you got a 30-minute lunch break, not a second over. You better make sure that you on it. You better make sure when they say jump, you say how high, because they're gonna fire you if you're not. Like, that's the fact, bro. They're gonna fire you if not. You getting paid well to be in this position. To have a base salary to learn real estate is a great thing, guys. So don't ever take it for granted. So if that sounds like you, though, just